Mr. Trudeau, in parts of southern Europe, there is a very desperate scene that's playing out. Migrants from places like Syria, Iraq, and northern Europe are fleeing their homes because of groups like ISIS and Boko Haram. At the beginning of the campaign, the Conservatives pledged that if re-elected, they would accept 10,000 additional refugees from those regions. What would a Liberal government do on that issue?
First of all, the situation faced by countless numbers of people fleeing for their lives from terrible acts of terrorism and violence is one that everyone deplores and is affected by. We see the scenes on the nightly news, and all of us have the feeling that we need to do more. Unfortunately, this Conservative government, despite its promises, hasn't once lived up to even its meager commitments in terms of accepting refugees from Syria and elsewhere. That's why the Liberal Party, months ago, even before this campaign, talked about setting an initial target of 25,000 Syrian refugees, from the region that we would be accepting, and of course are committed to doing more. To help people in their camps who are worried about things, who are fleeing for their lives, who are living in terrible conditions. Canada has always been a country that is open and welcoming and aware of our responsibilities on the world stage to ensure that everyone around this world has a chance. And that's what the Liberal Party is committed to doing.
My follow-up question is, there is a serious concern about border control in some of those European nations. As a coalition partner, should Canada be assisting some of those countries to help deal with the border control issue, because it's overwhelming at this point?
Canada has and needs to continue to be a strong and active friend and ally to our friends and allies around the world. Unfortunately, this Conservative government hasn't been as present in terms of development, in terms of international aid, in terms of cooperation with various countries around the world as we used to be. Obviously, Canada needs to be there for our friends. We need to provide the support that we can, and we need to be making the situation better in various ways that, quite frankly, we're not doing at this time.
Mr. Trudeau, polls show that the NDP has a lot of support in the province of Quebec right now. I wonder, why is your party having difficulty gaining traction here?
I look forward to Quebecers realizing that Mr. Mulcair is promising the same approach as Mr. Harper on the economy. He's committed to balancing the budget at all costs, even though he knows, like Mr. Harper, that that's going to be impossible. But in order to do it, he's going to have to make cuts, not just into his own promises, but into the existing budget that Mr. Harper put forward. Quebecers, like all Canadians, want a government that's going to invest in growth, in jobs, in the long-term opportunities that Canadians need. And that's exactly what we're putting forward as a plan. Our plan is not just focused on the past few months of poor numbers. Our plan is focused on the past few years of terrible growth, 10 years of terrible growth that Mr. Harper has put forward as his plan. Quebecers, like all Canadians, need a better government with a real plan for growth, and the Liberal Party is now the only party offering to invest in our future instead of cutting the way Mr. Harper has tried and failed at.